Hey everybody, it has been a hot minute since I've released a video on this channel, but if you feel like you've been missing out on this big bald dome, please go onto my other channel, which I will pop up right here somewhere on the top of this video, and watch some of the gaming content that I've been making. I've been spending a lot of time over there. But for today's video, I'm going to be talking about something that will hopefully make my life a whole lot easier. You see, I like to grow a lot of stuff in my garage, and watering has always been a really hard thing for me to deal with. In fact, watering is the #1 reason that I kill my plants. I'll be straight with you. So today, I'm going to be setting up and hopefully learning to use an Autopot system. So what is an Autopot, you ask? Well, an Autopot is quite simply a gravity-fed watering system that doesn't require electricity. All it does is give you the ability to potentially leave your plants alone for several days up to a week at a time and have them continuously watered perfectly, evenly, never overwatering, never underwatering, that's their promise, giving them exactly what they need. So today we're gonna set up an Autopot watering system and we're gonna see how it works. I haven't said this catchphrase in quite a while, and honestly, it feels really good to say it. So, here we go. Thanks for tuning in to today's video. Be safe, be careful, and as always, don't... What? Time to start off with everyone's favorite segment. What's in the box?
What's in the box?
All right, so literally, like, usually when I get a big box, there's a box in a box, but no, this is just box and then boom, stuff. So, okay, a lot of paper. Okay, these over here for a bit. Oh my, a lot of pieces, a lot of parts. This would be the reservoir, which looks like a 13-gallon trash can with a hole in it. Okay. Let's see here. Oh boy, okay. Lots and lots of, thank you, welcome to the family. Sweet. Lots of little pieces here. Ah yes, the air base. Show you what the air bases are for. The actual pots. Okay, and these are not massive. These aren't, I think these are 3.3 gallons or something like that. These are not the big ones, which are 6 gallons or something like that. Bases. Let's see. All right, I think that's it. What is all this and what does it do? Well, let's figure it out. Okay, so how does the Autopot system work exactly? Well, it's comprised of several key components here. First and foremost, the 3-gallon bucket. Now you'll notice that these buckets have a bunch of holes in the bottom of them. See those? That allows all the water to come in and out of the bucket unimpeded, okay? This is the watering tray. So what happens is, in your big reservoir, this one here, this is gonna sit up higher. Now in my garage, I'll show you where we're gonna put it. It's gonna be on a shelf off the ground, okay? So the water goes in here, and then you run a line from here out to all of your pots. The gravity then sends the water through a tube into the hole right here, okay? And then this is where it gets cool. So this is Autopot's patented aqua valve. It's basically a float valve, but it works a little bit differently to my understanding. Long story short, we're gonna run this guy into here, like so. And then as this tray needs water, this float will drop down, opening the valve. And then once the water fills up, the float will come up and it'll shut the valve off, okay? So literally, as the plants drink water, they will drain this reservoir, and then this float valve will drop, which will then refill the reservoir continuously until the big reservoir is actually completely empty. All right, so here's the watering tray. This is it's a plant riser. These are separate. They actually call them, what do they call these things? This is the air base, is what it is, okay? Now the air base actually works with the air dome as well. which can go right here. So if you want to put, an air bubbler in the bottom here to keep your roots oxygenated, you can do that. And it would sit right in here. I did not opt for that this time. I may end up 3D printing something for this or just not using it. I'm not entirely sure. But what you would do is when you're setting this up, you would have to put some sort of rocks or some sort of drainage medium in the bottom down here, like clay pebbles or big perlite or something like that. They recommend a couple of inches in the bottom to allow for the water to come in and out. You don't have to do that if you use this air base, okay? So this air base sits inside here just like so and keeps the roots off the bottom and allows this to have water freely coming in and out. So this sits perfectly into here. Our aqua valve will sit into here once it's plumbed, and then this little cover sits on top of here. Any sort of hydroponic watering system, light is your enemy. You do not want light to be hitting your water supply because that's where you're going to get algae growth. That's where you're going to see fungus. That's where you're going to allow pests to come in there. And I honestly thought about building one of these myself. I had a couple of designs that I thought might work, but the thing I couldn't get was this lack of light. Everything I had was going to be like a small tote where I put in a 5-gallon bucket with holes drilled in the bottom or something. The reason I spent the money on this thing, and it was a significant amount of money for what this truly is, it was over $300 for plastic, which don't yell at me. If you're my wife, don't yell at me. But anyways, the reason you pay for this is because it fits together nicely and it doesn't leak, allegedly. We're going to find out. So that's your basic setup. Imagine one tube running into here, and there are 6 of these setting in the grow tent being fed by one big reservoir. I may end up upgrading the reservoir at some point to something bigger, but we'll see. So as far as actual setup goes, it's pretty easy. Just follow the directions here. So this is called a root control disc, and it says to put the gold side facing up. I'm assuming that means don't let the roots grow through the bottom of the bucket, which makes sense. We're gonna put that gold side up. We're going to take our air base. We're gonna drop that guy in here. We're gonna leave the air dome slot intact because we're not using a bubbler. That goes to the bottom like so. Hope you can see that. Okay, so after we get the pot set up, the next thing says to take these top hat fittings, what they're called, and we push it through the hole right here. This is gonna keep the connection watertight. Maybe. All right. Then, what we need to do actually is get our tubing out here. It's 1/4-inch flexible tubing. It will go through here, come out this side, and then connect into our aqua valve on here. This guy screws off. We will connect the pipe or the tubing to this, and then screw this guy on for a watertight connection, okay? The kit also comes with several 4-way connectors so that you can have a setup similar to this. So you've got 3 on one side, 3 on one side, kind of 2 going across from each other, which is how we're gonna set it up. So it comes with 3 4-way splitters for that. It comes with 2 water shutoff valves. One of these will come directly out of the reservoir. The other one will go to the very end of the line. So if we need to like bleed the line, we can just turn this on. And then it comes with all of our top hat fittings, which we just put into here. So once you put that in there, this guy sits in here. We run all of our tubing. We put the lid on this, and Bob's your uncle. We're set up. So I'm gonna go set this up in the tent itself, and then I will walk you through and show you how I did it. So be right back.
A few moments later.
So it's been about 2 days because I've been working in here trying to get everything set up just right. But I do have all of the Autopots set up, and I did a leak test last night. I only had one leak, and it was from a fitting that I had to actually buy to replace the fitting that came with it. So there's supposed to be a cross fitting that goes right here. I was getting a little too bulky trying to put them together, and I ended up breaking it. So I had to buy a replacement T because they didn't have a cross, and that's leaking. So I have ordered the official parts from Autopot because all of their fittings are not leaking. So not the fault of Autopot. These things are watertight. Just the one that I bought from the hardware store is leaking. But let me show you how I have this thing set up. So outside the tent, I have the reservoir. And inside the reservoir, I don't know if you can see it down there, but obviously there's water, and then there is the little blue filter that connects to the grommet right here. Got the pipe going into the shutoff, which I have off right now because I'm just about ready to finish working in there. The line then runs down and goes through the exhaust vent in the side of the tent. And I do have it painters taped down right there just because the tubing was kind of bent up a little bit. But then I have the cross connector there, a cross connector there, and I'll have another cross connector over there once I get it done. But all of the systems are holding water. They all filled up exactly like they were supposed to, and they're all holding a perfect water level. Like I said, literally no issues with the system aside from the aftermarket part that I put in there. So not gonna get too bent out of shape about that. So the system is working great. Next steps, I'm gonna fill up the pots with the growing medium, get them soaked, and then get my seeds planted. So far I've got the seeds in a little tray over there that are germinating. We're gonna get them moved into here and get the humidifiers cranked up. So all in all, you can see they have a perfect water level on all of them. And I kept the lids off them just so I can make sure nothing's leaking. But yeah, no leaks, no issues. It's a wonderful little system, I hope. So now time to actually plant the plants. Just to kind of give you a little idea of what I was using before I bought the Autopots, this is a homemade, what's called a Hempy bucket. This is a 5-gallon bucket that I put a spigot on the bottom that you can turn on and off, obviously. And then what I would do is I had a little screen covering the hole so the rocks and stuff didn't get in here. I then had a base layer of clay pebbles that would cover about the bottom 2 inches of this. And then I would use cocoa core and perlite mix, which is what I'm still gonna use this time as well. What I would do is I would water. I would dump in about a half a gallon, maybe to a gallon of water. I would then open up this valve and it would soak through here, and then it would create a reservoir in the bottom down here. So the bottom, I don't know, 2 inches or so were just water reservoir. And if they got too full, I would leave this valve open because I didn't want to have any more water than just this amount. But that's where I had issues. If these spigots got clogged up or if anything went sideways, then I didn't know, and I started flooding the plants. And I had that issue actually several times where I gave them too much water, or when I went to go water them the next time, they were completely dry. That's always been my biggest hiccup, and I truly think that bigger and better plants are gonna come with more consistent watering. So this rudimentary Hempy bucket has obviously been replaced by the official Autopots, and I think these are gonna work a lot better. It's the same basic concept that there's gonna be a full-time 2 inches of water in the bottom, and that's how the plants like it. They like to be bottom fed, and they like to have those roots go down. All right, folks, so that's it so far on the setup and the unboxing of the Autopot. Now, I obviously can't do a full review on this unit because it's gonna take a while to make sure it actually works, but I will say so far, so good. No leaks, everything fits the way that it should. It came together really well. The instructions were simple. It's a nice simple. I will say my final thought, it's pretty expensive. It's very expensive for what you get realistically. I mean, I think what you're paying for here are the patents and the technology, if you will. I could probably make something like this using some traditional float valves and maybe some self-watering bases, but would it fit together the same? Would I have issues with leaking? Would I be fighting more than what it's worth? So in this case, I thought I'm just gonna spend the money, and if it works, it's well worth the investment. If it doesn't, I'm gonna kick myself for it. But so far, so good. I like the Autopot. If you have any questions about this, or if you wanna see further videos about how they're looking down the road, just give me a shout or leave a message in the comments down below, and we'll do another video if we have to. So until next time, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you later.